Okay, you're probably going, well, what's the deal with this awkward angle? Well, it's because the books that I'm going to be showing you in this video are so heavy that in my mind it's ridiculous to transport them from the bookshelf that's right here that you can't see all the way to the area where I normally do update videos, go from side to side and then put them back. I'm just not going to go through all that. We're going to do it from right here, and it's not that much of an awkward angle anyway, because that door right there, that's the door that I'm always leaning on when I'm making non-update videos. Right. So, the first book that I'm going to show you actually isn't a DK book, but it fits in so well with the DK books, I figured that I should just put it right next to them. It's Batman, the definitive history of the Dark Knight in comic, film, and whatever other text is down there. The updated edition that came out, I think, about a year ago, and like this thing is truly amazing. Like it goes into detail about like every version of Batman ever. But what's interesting is just how much that they include here, like in terms of art, work. Imagine how, yeah, you think that this is awkward? Imagine me doing it over there, right? So you get that pretty nice picture of the Duncan now, of Batman. But then you've got forward by Michael Keaton, arguably the most well-known or favorited live-action portrayal of Batman. Prefaced by Dennis O'Neil, one of the more well-known writers of Batman comics, and an intro by Kevin Conroy, the person that many people, myself included, say is the definitive Batman, because I didn't see too much of the animated show when I was growing up, but I liked what I saw and what little I've seen of it since getting stuff has really made me a huge Kevin Conroy fan. When I heard that he passed, I was depressed for the next couple of days. Like, yeah, I mean, it shows you how much I grew to identify with the guy, but this thing is just amazing. It talks about all kinds of cartoons, comics, and it also has these like additional bits of drawings or things that all included as like bonuses. Because like what I've got right here, this will be upside down, but you should be able to figure it out. What you've got here is little bits of a script here from maybe it's the 89 Batman, I'm not sure, but it's just things like this that are truly amazing in here. Like, if you're just going to own one Batman thing, I definitely would recommend that you own this one. Now, this next one also isn't a DK book. This will be the last non-DK book that I show you, but again, it fits in so well. Harry Potter from Page to Screen, the updated edition. This is basically something that tells you about all bits about Harry Potter, even though it's more about the movies. But I mean, like, you get some great artwork, views from the sets. You get some stuff about the books, but then it's primarily about all the movies with a little bit about bonus stuff at the end, such as like the theme park attraction, and I think the play gets a little notation as well. I don't know. For me, Harry Potter really is just the main book series and the movies, and then I call it good. I did have a desire to see the Fantastic Beasts series, but I don't anymore, so that's that. Oh, and if you wonder what the deal with this is just how the book came. It's a design issue that I don't think is that good, because you've got these Death Eater masks here. Yes, I'm holding it upside down, but So you see now why the paper's a little scrunched up. It really would not have been hard for them to just make it all regular flip pages, you know. But if that's my only real complaint about this, I'll take it. Right, okay. So that takes care of the non-DK stuff. Now to get into DK. You're going to see that a lot of these books have symmetry. You'll see what I mean. First off, we have Spider-Man Chronicle, which is a book that details the entire Spider-Man history of comics from Amazing Fantasy 15 to right about when I finished high school in 2012. But get this, I don't just mean the Amazing Spider-Man, which is the main Spider-Man comic book series, even though they might have discontinued it. I don't know, I don't read modern comics, but it doesn't just talk about that. It discusses Peter Parker the Spectacular Spider-Man, Spider-Man appearing in, I think, other comics, maybe not as closely followed, but it has everything in here. This truly is 50 years of Spider-Man history put there in miniature, where it tells you the names of all these comics plus a short synopsis. So now, if you're confused on like how to read the Clone Wars saga or the saga of the Spider Slayers, you now have all that. Huh? I call that pretty useful. Wow. It's a shame that they haven't put out a more updated release, but to go from the 60s to the 2010s, that's still pretty good. And then next we have Batman, A Visual History, which is actually the same thing, except instead of 50 years of Batman, it's 80 years, because of course Batman was around long before Spider-Man came around, and this also goes up to about when I finished high school. And then it says, includes 2 exclusive prints in here. I think I might have actually gotten rid of those because I found those to be a little bit annoying. Because sometimes I'll keep bonus things that come with various works, other times I don't. It's really a case-by-case basis. Next up we have Marvel Year by Year, the most recent edition of this that you can get. Now, this doesn't describe individual comic books like the other two. That would be way too much for this. Instead, what happens is that you get a certain amount of pages devoted to each year of this company's history and a decent amount of what they were making. Now, of course, due to only so many things happening in a certain amount of years, you get fewer pages per year in the early bits, 45, 46, 47, but then of course, as you get more modern, you start having, like a bad example, you start having multiple back and forward pages per years. Huh? So it's a nice way for you to learn about sort of what came in what order, and you might even learn about a few things that you didn't know existed. And then you've got the DC visual history, which is the same thing. Now, and if you're wondering why I have the Marvel before the DC, it's really just how they ended up on the shelf. Because do I prefer Marvel or DC? It really depends on what medium or what it is that you're focusing on. Because I argue that comics for Marvel are better because of them being a little more realistic in how they tie everything together better, but individual story arcs, DC has the best. When it comes to animation, DC trumps Marvel. When it comes to live action, movies, Marvel is better. When it comes to live-action TV shows, from what little I've experienced, seems like DC is better. You see what I mean? Right. So which do I prefer? It really depends on what you're talking about. Okay, hopefully that doesn't happen again. Then we've got Marvel, the character encyclopedia. But here's the thing. You really got to be careful about these character encyclopedia things when it comes to DK. Because depending on what the title actually says, you could easily end up from a book that has a decent amount of information for supporting characters, and then where's a better example? Yes, I'm doing this on the fly. Or you have like, you know, multiple pages of stuff for bigger characters, you know, but with very good text that comes along with it. You could go from that to showing like a caricature and then just having like a tiny blurb that's like that big of text in a couple of areas, so there's a lot more white space. I really can't describe it any more than that. You're gonna have to go onto Amazon, look up Character Encyclopedia for DK, and then use the pictures that have been taken from the books to figure out what I mean in a better sense, okay? I'm sorry that I can't explain it to you better. Then we've got the DC Character Encyclopedia. So you can truly see that it's the same, and this is actually the first one of these that I got. Well, my dad actually was the one that got this to me, and that just set off a catalyst of getting these things, but I did actually have some DK stuff when I was younger, because I didn't have these next two as a kid, but, oh, you know. I did have the original versions of those books that I'm about to show you when I was younger. You've got the Ultimate Character Guide of Spider-Man and Batman, my favorite Marvel and DC superhero respectively. Which one's better? Again, I can't really tell you. Depends on what you're talking about, because I enjoy the comics more for here, and then I definitively enjoy the animation for him more, the movies. Case by case. But I didn't have those when I was younger, because this is the original Batman version of this. We had this, Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man when I was younger. But it actually would merit that you get a couple of these older editions, because where the heck is Joker? Joker. Gotta be okay. Here we go. Another one. I know this isn't Joker, but whatever. Catwoman. You see how she's got a front and a back in this first edition? Contrast that with edition 3 or 4. I think this is 4. What the heck is your Rogue Gallery in here? Come on, you've got to have Rogue Gallery 68. Got it. Okay, yeah, that seems nice, right? You feature almost all of the big villains for Batman minus Joker and Catwoman, where Joker's right here, but in that first edition that I showed you, the majority of the characters that were on the Rogue Gallery page, they had their own front and back. And also, at the end of these things, they have, shall we say, more random stuff. Well, it's different random stuff. So at some point, I'm going to have to get the second edition of both of these in order to truly run this out. I know what you're thinking. Why not the first? Because I saw the first and the second editions enough times to know that the second edition only added rather than removed. Editions 3 and 4, they added and removed. So you see the issue there? Right. I'm also going to have to do the same for the Star Wars volumes that I had when I was a kid for DK there. That's a little bit of a bummer, but that's just how it works. You know? Come on, come on, come on. This particular shelf isn't filled, that's why. It's almost filled, though. This next one is going to be a little harder to explain. You're going to have to form, like, your own thoughts about it. I've got the Marvel book. What this series is about is that it seems like it's a slight overview and timeline of, like, a lot of Marvel history and characters and things like that, because it's not really organized chronologically, and it's not chronologized alphabetically either. They even have this little explanation thing. It's rather tough to explain. I'm sorry that I can't do it any more than that. There's a DC version of this which I don't have, but I wish I did. I'm going to get it. There's also a Star Wars edition that doesn't seem to be as good, but I'll snag it. But then there's also a Star Trek version of it, which I think is a little more organized chronologically, but it does have like some in-universe timeline things, which is handy. This next one, which is my latest edition, is Marvel Cinematic Universe and Official Timeline. But here's the thing. This isn't real world timeline. This is in-universe timeline because, get this. No. Give me, here we go. No. Next page. Sorry. I know that this isn't done that well. Here we go. I don't know how well this camera can pick it up, but you can see that those dates are way in the past. So you get some of like the ancient stuff that happens in the timeline, and then you jump to more modern times, and then you get stuff that says spring of 2010. But it doesn't just stop with the year it is right now, 2023. It actually goes into 2024. Interesting, huh? That. Alright, just two more for you. We got the Star Wars year by year. This isn't as good as like the Marvel and DC one because it includes a lot more silly stuff like comic books or real life adventures or political events. Hi, Odin. Odin being our second dog. We actually rescued him for the pound. At the same time. And then we've got Star Wars Timelines, which is basically the Disney timeline that was created. Because if you look at this really closely, you'll see no mention of either the Great Sith War 5,000 years before Episode 4 or the Ancient Sith War, I guess they call it, which took place 1,000 years before Episode 4, you know, Darth Bane. Yeah. Okay. Oh, well. Sorry, I do actually have one more non-DK book here. Sucker Punch, the art of the movie, but this book is really pretty much just pictures. There's barely any text in here, but it's a well-done art book. As somebody who's always liked the movie, it's nice to see this stuff. Oh, they call these guys orcs here? Technically, that's a ripoff. Alright, well, let's get the DK collection, but I got one more collection to show you here.